Hello, learners. This is your teacher. Today, we are going to learn about a famous American who created some unforgettable characters for us. We will talk about Walt Disney. But before starting the lesson, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. And if you want to become fluent in English faster, then visit our website. When you were young, did you enjoy watching cartoons? Did you watch them alone or with your family? Perhaps you have watched Disney cartoons with your family. Many of us grew up watching Disney movies and still love them. These include Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio, Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, The Jungle Book, The Lion King, Frozen, Mona, and many others. There are 59 full-length animated movies in total. All these movies were produced by the Walt Disney Company, which was founded by Walter Elias Disney, better known as Walt Disney. He changed the world of animation forever. In fact, he is regarded as one of the most gifted animators of all time. So let's listen to his incredible life story. Walt Disney was born in Chicago, Illinois, on December 5, 1901, when he was 4 years old. His family moved to a farm in Marceline, Missouri. This is where he spent most of his childhood. His father owned a grocery store and an interurban railway line, which made him quite rich. So Walt had a comfortable life and was able to attend college. But his parents divorced when he was 15 years old, and everything changed. From this point on, he had to work to help support his family. While attending high school, he worked evenings and weekends at a local newspaper company. He wanted to be a cartoonist, so he studied at the Kansas City Art Institute after graduating from high school. But he soon left because he thought it was boring. Then in 1920, at the age of 19, he got a job at an advertising agency in Kansas City called the Pesman-Rubicam Company. He worked there for a year, but in 1921, he enlisted in the Army during World War I and served for several months. After returning home, he went back to what he loved, animation. He worked at the Lofogram Films Company as an animator and eventually became its art director. However, the company went bankrupt in 1923 due to competition with other studios. In 1923, Walt Disney and his brother Roy relocated to Hollywood, California, where they believed the film industry was more concentrated. Here, Walt met Ub Iwerks, who was a talented cartoonist working for the Coca-Cola Company. Together, they started a new company called Disney Brothers Cartoon Studio. They only produced a few cartoons, and eventually, Iwerks departed to join another studio. Then Walt hired a former colleague from Lofogram, and together they started a new project. This was a series of animated shorts featuring a new character named Oswald, the Lucky Rabbit. Although the first two cartoons were not commercially successful, their third one, The Wise Little Hen, caught the attention of Charles Mintz, who was the head of Universal Pictures animation department. So Mintz signed the Disney brothers to produce a series of cartoons starring Oswald, the Lucky Rabbit. They produced over 200 cartoons over the next 3 years, but Walt was not satisfied. He felt he was losing creative control over his character. That's why he asked his friend, animator UB Iwerks, to help him develop a new character for a new project. Finally, on November 18, 1928, Mickey Mouse made his debut in a cartoon called Steamboat Willie. It was a huge success. Mickey's popularity helped the Walt Disney Company secure distribution deals with major movie theaters, and the company soon expanded to over 100 employees. Additionally, in that same year, Walt married Lillian Bounds, who was a fellow Disney animator. They didn't have any children, but adopted 2 daughters, Diane and Sharon. After Mickey, Walt continued creating new characters. In 1929, he introduced the world to Minnie Mouse. Then, in 1930, to Clarabelle Cow, Horace Horsecollar, and finally to Goofy in 1932. Throughout the 1930s, Disney released many popular animated shorts and feature-length films. For instance, in 1932, he released Flowers and Trees, the first full-color cartoon. And in 1937, he released Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the first full-length animated feature film. The Walt Disney Company enjoyed great success during what is now known as the Golden Age of animation, which lasted from the mid-1930s to the late 1940s. The end of this period marked a turning point for the company as World War II began. During the war, Walt focused much of his creativity on patriotic training films for the military rather than entertainment. Some of these included The Three Caballeros, Saludos, Amigos, and the documentary The Living Desert. Following the war, Walt's animation studio continued producing classic animated shorts and feature films. However, it was during this period that the first decline in Disney's popularity occurred. One of the reasons for this was the death of his beloved wife, Lillian, in 1937. To cope with his grief, he threw himself into his work. But the loss was a turning point in his career. He was unable to create another Snow White or Pinocchio. In 1950, Walt Disney opened Disneyland in Anaheim, California. This was a completely new experience for him. At first, he worried about its success, but it turned out to be a great idea. As millions of people visited the park, he became fascinated with theme parks. So he spent less time on animation and more on expanding his park business. Nevertheless, during this period, he produced 2 successful movies, Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland. Walt Disney was a perfectionist and spent a lot of time developing new ideas and projects. He suffered several setbacks in the 1950s, such as the failure of his first live-action film, Treasure Island, and the closing of his television show, The Mickey Mouse Club. Despite these challenges, He continued to innovate and experimented with different animation techniques. In 1959, he released Sleeping Beauty, his most expensive film to date, and it was also a commercial failure. Some critics claimed that it was too long and expensive. Others thought it was too violent for a children's movie. Nonetheless, Walt refused to give up. He knew he needed a hit film to save his company. At this time, Walt Disney Productions was in financial trouble. Several of its recent films had flopped, and the public's interest in animation was waning. Also, Walt had a strong rivalry with E.P., a British animator who had recently released a successful adaptation of a classic fairy tale, which was a significant box office success. Walt Disney was determined to succeed, so he decided to make an animated version of another fairy tale. Walt Disney believed that if he could make a great movie based on this fairy tale, he could win back the hearts of audiences and critics alike. And that's how Mary Poppins was born. It took 4 years to complete the movie. During this time, Walt Disney traveled to England and researched how people lived and spoke there. He even learned how to pronounce the word Poppins correctly. Walt's research paid off. Mary Poppins was a critical and commercial success. It won an Academy Award for Best Music, Scoring, and was nominated for 8 other Oscars, including Best Picture of the Year. The movie grossed over $200 million worldwide. With its mix of live action and animation, it demonstrated the possibilities of filmmaking. Despite his success, Walt Disney was already ill. He had been suffering from lung problems for years. In 1966, he underwent an operation for lung cancer. Unfortunately, it was too late. He died on December 15, 1966. He left behind a legacy that continues to inspire generations of artists and filmmakers. What kind of person was Walt Disney? What do you think? Walt Disney was a man with a lot of energy, a curious mind, and a passion for what he did. He was a very busy person, but he always found time for the things he loved. He was also a dreamer. He believed that anything was possible if you set your mind to it. He said, "If you can dream it, you can do it." He was also a hard worker. He never gave up in the face of adversity. He believed that success was the result of hard work and dedication. He said, "The more you work, the luckier you get." Finally, he was a humanitarian. He believed that animation could be used to make the world a better place. He used his platform to speak out against racism and war. He said, "I'm against everything that keeps people apart." What do you think about his character? Let us know in the comments below. Walt Disney received numerous awards and recognition throughout his lifetime. He was a recipient of 26 Academy Awards, more than any other individual, including 4 honorary awards. He was inducted into the Junior 35 Hall of Fame in 1969, the year after his death. In addition, a star was dedicated to him on the Hollywood Walk of Fame at 6925 Hollywood Boulevard. There are many famous quotes attributed to Walt Disney. Let's look at a few of them. All the good things are stored away in the heart and in the mind, and they will always stay there. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. It's not the size that matters, but the way you use it. If you can dream it, you can do it. We keep moving forward, opening up new doors and doing new things because we're curious, and curiosity keeps. The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing. Happiness is happiness. Mind, do. We can, we, so we, you do, we, It only depends on ourselves. We don't make mistakes, only opportunities to learn. It's the little things in life that count to the world. You may be one person, but to one person, you may be the world. No one can think straight when they're hungry. You may not always get what you want, but if you try, sometimes you might find you get what you need. No man becomes truly rich until he makes other people rich. If you want to tell stories, you must first be willing to listen to them. Adventure is out there. Even if you fall on your face, the greatest ideas are born out of adversity. People don't want to be told what to think. They want to think for themselves. We must all take time to stop and be grateful for the beauty that surrounds us. You gotta do what you gotta do. Your time is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. Which quote do you like the most? Finally, let's look at Disney's reputation. How is he remembered today? Walt Disney is widely regarded as the father of modern animation. He created some of the most iconic characters and stories in history. He was also a visionary entrepreneur who built one of the most successful entertainment companies in the world. Walt Disney was a legend who left an indelible mark on the world of entertainment. He will be remembered as a genius, an innovator, and a pioneer whose work continues to entertain and inspire people around the world. Let's now do some exercises. Exercise 1. Now listen to each statement and decide if it is true or false. Write T for true and F for false. 1. Walt Disney was born in 1900. 2. He produced over 200 cartoons featuring Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. 3. Mary Poppins was Walt Disney's last movie. 4. He won an Academy Award for Best Music, scoring for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. 5. Walt Disney was a recipient of 26 Academy Awards? Answers: 1. F. 2. T. 3. F. 4. F. 5. T. Exercise 2. Complete the sentences using the correct form of the verb in parentheses. 1. Walt Disney Studios _produce dozens of animated shorts and feature films. 2. After the war, Walt's animation studio continue producing classic animated shorts and feature films. 3. The Walt Disney Company enjoy great success during what is now known as the Golden Age of Animation. 4. Disney believe that animation can be used to make the world a better place. 5. Several of Disney's recent films flop, and the public's interest in animation wane. Answers: 1. Produced. 2. Continued. 3. Enjoyed. 5. Had waned. Exercise 3. Find the synonyms of the underlined words in the text. 1. Despite being quite rich, he had to work to help support his family. Poor. 2. He had a comfortable life and able to attend college. Was. 3. At first, he with his creation. Was dissatisfied. 4. Over the years, he developed a strong with his rival. Hatred. 5. In 1950, Walt Disney Disneyland in Anaheim, California. Inaugurated. Answers: 1. Was. 2. Was. 3. Was dissatisfied. 4. Rivalry. 5. Inaugurated. Exercise 4. Now answer the questions using the information in the text. 1. Where was Walt Disney born? 2. Who did he meet at the Lafogram Films Company? 3. When did Mickey Mouse make his debut? 4. Which was Walt Disney's first full-length animated feature film? 5. When did Walt Disney die? Answers: 1. In Chicago, Illinois. 2. Fred Harmon. 3. On November 18, 1928. 4. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. 5. On December 15, 1966. Thank you for listening to the story about Walt Disney. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. If you want to become fluent in English faster, then visit our website. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Learners, thank you for being with us till the end. See you in the next video.